morning, we will have the good luck and the opportunity to have with us two guests. They are Ugo Pannuti and Edoardo Favari. Welcome, both of you. It's a good opportunity because we are discussing with them about a question that is maybe is a bit technical, but is impacting strongly on the situation and the condition we are working about. We are talking about infrastructures. We are talking about sustainability. And so we are trying to see this focus element from 2 points of view. Okay, the question of engineering solutions to make sustainable infrastructure, the question of impacts on the design, on the area we are working about. I'm just saying two very brief words about Ugo and Edoardo before giving an introduction about the area, the meaning of infrastructure in the Piacenza condition. Ugo Pannuti is an engineer, is working in a society about certification on sustainable levels for management, for construction building, and for infrastructure. The name of the society is ICMQ. We are very happy because they are also partner of our international workshop for the first year. It's an opportunity to share, I think, information, because from architectural field and engineer field, we need to reinforce and to push collaboration. And I think that their point of view about how to intend contemporary infrastructure can be very useful for us. Edoardo Favari is an engineer as well. Is a friend. Is part of the Politecnico di Milano family, and is also director of Poli Piacenza, the association. Well, maybe I don't know. Are you up to now the director?
Yeah. Chairman.
Okay. Chairman, okay, of Poli Piacenza. Poli Piacenza is the association supporting our international workshop and supporting the presence of Politecnico di Milano in the city of Piacenza. He's also in the board of Fondazione Piacenza Vigevano. He's strongly involved in the society of Piacenza, but he's also, by the side of his professional career, is a professional working about different phases of engineer. So he's working about mega project. He's working about some question related to engineering of the processes, and this is what
project management.
Project management. Yeah. And he's teaching not just at Politecnico, also at University Cattolica in Piacenza and Milano. And so also his point of view will help. Maybe Edoardo, you can maybe say something now about the meaning of this morning.
Yeah, the idea of the topic of this seminar was mine because as Michele said, my professional career and also my lecturer part of my career is related to project management, and sustainability, according to my belief and to my researches, academic researches as well, is one important part of the management of any kind of projects. So the opportunity to talk about a sustainability rating system that is a very rule of thumb approach to a very basic approach to the leadership of any kind of project, according to me, is interesting. Maybe it's something that is more clear for an engineer, no, than the a very strong technical approach to project. As Ugo will show you, the approach is very basic. That is, you have a list of credit, and you have to measure. You have the metrics, and you have to measure for your project how much you fulfill these sustainability credits, and so how much sustainable is your project according to this this approach. There are several. Envision obviously is not the only rating system, sustainability rating system that can be applied to project. For buildings. Now, obviously, LEEDs is the more known, and there are also for infrastructure some other. Envision currently is the most used for infrastructure. That is, anything is linear. No, it's not a building project. I am a member I am certified as sustainability professional for Envision since several years, and I am also a member of the International Academic Committee of Envision. So the link has been mine. And I also bring the salutation of the Institute for Sustainable Infrastructure that is based in the United States. When I asked to the Institute for Sustainable Infrastructure to have someone from them in the workshop, they immediately addressed me to ICMQ, that is the most important company in Italy for sustainable rating systems. And Ugo, that actually we were already in touch. It's not we also made a workshop. We ran together a workshop in Piacenza a few years ago about rating systems, sustainability rating systems. So the rationale is this: to have to apply, to lead project to sustainability using a tool that is a rating system that is not very sexy sometimes, it's very basic, but really helps in leading sustainability. That's all, Michele.
Okay, the program of this morning is I'm giving you a very brief presentation about the role of infrastructure in the area of design project. So creating a bridge, a link. Then I'm giving the floor to Engineer Ugo Pannuti, and is presenting his contents in a double step. And then Edoardo is closing with some case study about the infrastructure in the landscape. And then for sure we have time for...
The agenda is that Ugo present the approach to sustainability that Envision apply. Then another presentation is what is and the rating system. And then I put together some case study that can be used to facilitate a discussion on the application of the rating system.
Okay, then for sure we will have at the end time for a question and answer and comments about what we have said. So going into the theme, I think the contents of infrastructure in Piacenza. I'm giving you some slides. I think you can see it. The point is to understand this very chaotic and complex area we are trying to deal with. So the area in the northern border of Piacenza city, between the historical and more firm part of the city and the river, what's happening. And what's happening is question to understand also the present role, criticalities and opportunities of the many infrastructures we can find there. In terms of urban design, we have tried to understand also what we need to focus to infrastructures. For sure, infrastructures are question of accessibility. In Piacenza, this is very clear. The different typologies of infrastructure means in the history, it means also today a strong level of accessibility. People can arrive easily. People can live easily this area. People can see this area also traveling. And this means also work about an area with a strong permeability, porosity, and so accessibility. The second one is a question of impacts. Impact is not just something negative. There are some impacts that can be also positive, but for sure, infrastructure, and it's very, very clear on the natural environment, we can see also in this aerial view, infrastructure means strong impact in terms of pollution, for example, or noisy. And this is what we are talking about, mainly about sustainability this morning. Means also impact in terms of the landscape perception. Imagine we have seen some, now I'm passing through some of image taken in Piacenza in these days. You can take also if you are in Piacenza during this workshop, the viaduct, the bridges, the barriers are creating some limits, some important and strong impact in the perception. The area in this view, understanding the connection between the landscape elements, and exactly in this point where the buffer zone we are facing with is becoming narrower and narrower, their infrastructure are condensing, their infrastructures are more and more dense and intense, and their infrastructure are also defining a complex and contradictory relationship with the landscape itself. So this is our, the play board of our workshop. We have discussed the opening on Tuesday, our work. We have talked about the two bridges. Now we are focusing better. We are talking also, and we need also this scale because one of the highway in Piacenza is passing here. So Piacenza in the north-south direction is strongly impacting and characterized by infrastructure. This is the result of the strategic localization we have already talked about. Piacenza is in a sort of the center of a sort of crux we can see in the cities and environment of the northern Italy. So between Milan and Bologna direction. Milan and Bologna direction is a part, a fragment of the backbone, we can say, of Italian network system. So north-south, more or less, but also east-west. So Torino and Venezia, we can say Genoa and Venezia. But the point where these two axes are overlapping is very close to the city of Piacenza, to the area of Piacenza. We can see it also looking very briefly to some images. This is the motorways Italian network, so all the motorways we can find in Italy. And the black circle, we can see deeply here, more here, we can see that two motorways are overlapping in this area. The A1, so from Milano to Bologna, is this one, and the A21 that is called as the Torino Piacenza Brescia, so from Turin, Piacenza and Brescia, the overlapping, the cross of the two motorways is exactly close to the city center. This means, I repeat, accessibility in my point. This is the reason of some of the characters and identities of Piacenza itself, but it means also impacts. It doesn't change, well, the strategic localization means also to be an important node for the railway system. You can see here, this with blue is the railway Italian network, where the blue are the most important line. Sorry, this image is not very good, but we can see that also in this case, Piacenza is the cross between the connection still Milano and Bologna, this one, and the Piacenza, Alessandria, and then Torino line, so going to west. Also in this case, the node, the strategic localization is very, very clear. What is the impact in the history? We can see quite clearly in this image where we have tried to overlap the natural condition, okay, not natural in the meaning, okay, we can see natural forms and shape, we can see also agricultural lands. Agriculture is a particular type of nature for sure, but we have tried to put some of the lines, so the motorway, the railway, overlapping on the territory. This crash, in some case, this meeting created the contradictory and emblematic conditions of the area we need to face with, and we are trying that we can see, I think, quite clearly in this aerial view. So if you don't know, now we are trying to give a name to different lines. If you don't know quite anything, it's a sort of strange spider net of lines without hierarchies, or with very few hierarchies, with some clear direction, the two bridges bypassing the Po River, and with a main east-west direction of lines and strips. Each line has a role, each line has an identity, each line has a vocation. But what is important, I think, by an urban design, landscape design point of view, is the overlapping and creating of system of barriers. So going deeply about the different infrastructure, different line, different elements we can recognize. Let's start with number one. The most important, I guess, sometimes we don't recognize that a river, or is the main Italian river, is an infrastructure. It's a blue infrastructure, we can say. So the water flowing from here, so from west to east, from the mountains to the Adriatic Sea, is strong infrastructure, and is the main infrastructure you can find. An infrastructure that is particular, that maybe today has not role and value in terms of economic travels and so on, but that it's a fantastic infrastructure opportunity in terms of landscape and in terms of natural elements, in terms also of opportunities to improve the quality itself of the art. We have two bridges. We are very clear to see it in some images. Now I'm showing another image. The first one is the road bridge. That is not a motorway. I mean, it's a normal street, or normal. It's a national level street, the so-called Via Emilia. So along one of the historical corridor. It's a road you can also walk and ride on it. And if you remember, in the first day we have talked about the cycle and path connecting north and south. So there are bridges connecting two sides of the Po River coast, connecting also to region. So Regione Emilia-Romagna on the south and Lombardia in the north. One is the road, I have said, and the second is the train, the train bridge. This is image, I like this image. Okay, now I'm sure, because it's an image taken when in 2009 the road bridge during an overflowing collapsed. Now then, during the next month and year, it was rebuilt on the same area. But I like this image because it can say that the bridge is not just the part bypassing the water on the Po, but because the field domain, you can say, of the river is also larger, and when overflowing, you can see it is some kilometers long. The two bridges, the road one and the train one, the railway one, are also lines in the territory, creating strongly a direction for sure, but creating also a sign in the territory at let's say in a large scale view. This slide is showing the railway network. So I have said the bridge, this one connecting to Milano. This is the railway line going to Lodi and then Milano, north part of Italy. But as we have seen in the previous diagram, two different lines are arriving, because the line of a principal, the main line, is this one. So from Milano to Bologna, this direction. Bologna is from here and Milano in this direction. With the station is number 5. It was open in the 50s, 60s of the 19th centuries. I have flipped through some data. More or less every year, 5 million of people are traveling in this, not in the station, I mean on this line. That is an important number. I mean, a lot of people are bypassing Piacenza also not stopping here, but just traveling from north to south direction. Please take note that is not an high capacity railway line. Okay, so, when some years ago, 10 years ago, the TAV, okay, the high speed train was built on the line between Milano and Bologna. Because of technical reason, the train doesn't pass in Piacenza station, so the train are not on this line, but on a different line on the east part of the territory. So the high capacity are not passing through Piacenza. But there is another line that is a minor line, less used and less important in terms of flows of people. That is the east-west direction. So from there are some railways going to Alessandria, going to Piemonte. Imagine that in terms of hierarchy, this is the main line stopping in a station, and this is the second line arriving for sure in a station, and this is the reason of the node. But the area is also impacted, and by a very important viaduct built in the 60s. That is a part of the A21 motorway. The A21 motorway is the one connecting Torino, Piacenza with Brescia, east with west direction. Is not one of the most important motorways in Italy. I have found this data that I think is quite updated. More or less 40,000 among car and trucks traveling every day on the line on this street. So passing through all the northern barrier of the city. More or less half and half. I mean, 20,000 of car and 20,000 of trucks, so for commercial activity. This means that also in relation to other motorways, the commercial role of this viaduct is very important. The viaduct that is strongly impacting, we have seen in a lot of photos, was built more or less in the 70s. And then there is the national road network. So the one passing on the bridge, this is the image of the bridge collapsed in the 2009 I was talking about, arriving here in the epicenter of our area, Piazzale Milano, because it is the area connected to Milano. And from here there is a Strada Statale, okay, national level street connecting east part of the city and west part of the city. Then the west part of the city is becoming the Via Emilia, connecting the different cities along in Emilia-Romagna, from Piacenza to Rimini, we can say, Parma, Reggio Emilia, Modena, and then Bologna. The number 8, that is quite important because we can see, and this is strongly impacting as well, is a sort of bypass, a new road built in a few years ago, that is bypassing the railway, because as you can imagine, this network means a condition of overlapping and of contrast. So the problem was that because of the railway line, it was quite impossible to get with the normal road network from the southern part of the city to the northern part. So it was built this bypass that we can see now in some images. This is another very exemplary and emblematic image taken when the bridge collapsed. So for a period, a temporary bridge was built on the river. So you can see the temporary boat bridge here and the railway bridge here. Now I'm passing through some image, trying to give a prompt of what is the impact of infrastructure in the part of Piacenza. This is the beginning of the bridge, the road bridge, and this is the viaduct of the A21 motorway. The viaduct, that the impact of the viaduct is not just this presence of a barrier, but also this phono-absorbent, I don't know if it's the right name, so this element able to protect from the city, but are creating an impact in terms of landscape, as you can see. Because of different levels, I was talking in advance, it means that we have a lot of bridges. This is a bridges on the Po level, we can see that the urban level. on the new street level. And this instead taken for Rione Fodesta, one of the identity element you are called also to involve in your project. We can see the recent bypass, the last part of the road system built, that is this one. As you can imagine, maybe it works in terms of technical and transportation system, but is creating an element blocking the view that is strongly interrupted from the city to the river because of this system of infrastructure. And these are just some images taking, letting you to understand this this limitation. Last two slides, then I'm giving the floor to the colleagues focusing for sure better and deeply the contents of infrastructure and sustainability. These images are instead taken, these last two images taken from quite recent experience we had done in Polimi, in Piacenza, in Politecnico di Milano, in some workshop. This was a project made by some students working on a transformation of the viaduct. As you can see, this is the line of A21 motorway with the two bridges, and this is the anchor point from the city. The idea is that it's possible, as you can see also in this image, to think infrastructure in terms of landscape, and maybe also Edoardo later is talking about this point. Our role, maybe our effort, have to be also addressed to understand how this complex and contradictory condition can be transformed through the through our work, which is urban design. So I hope that I introduced in the right way this morning session. So if you have not comment or other question, I can give Ugo the possibility to share his presentation. Sorry, I cannot see it. I have done some problems. Okay, Ugo.
Thank you, Michele.
Posta come redattore. Okay, I can give you the floor.
Good morning to everybody. Thanks to Michele and to the University for invitation. Let's introduce myself and my company. Do you see my screen?
Yes, we can. Yeah.
Okay. My name is Ugo Pannuti. I am responsible of sustainability sector of ICMQ. ICMQ, oh sorry, I am another presentation, this one. ICMQ is a no-profit organization that has about 20 years of life, that has some founding members from the most important association in the construction field. We have as active member the Italian Technical Economic Cement Association, or Concrete, or Precast Concrete Elements Association. Also some utilities like RFI, Rete Ferroviaria Italiana, Italian State Railways, or Enel, National Electricity Board. We have some, all the Italian ministry and other associate members. ICMQ Istituto perform his activity with ICMQ SPA, that is a certification body. We have a lot of certification activity in the management system certification, product certification, and also in sustainable sector. We have three divisions: certification of sustainable products, certification of sustainable buildings, and certification of sustainable infrastructure. We are using the Envision protocol. We will see. I skip some slide to introduce you some aspects of sustainability. This vintage slide shows us that if we don't anything to invert the tendency, we will need 2.5 or 3 Hertz in 2050 to satisfy our needs. But the challenge is how can I invert the tendency? How can I improve my quality of life without resource consuming? The key point is to design in a sustainable way. But what is the sustainability? The sustainability, we know that is the intersection of these 3 spheres, the social sphere, the economical, and the environmental sphere. Each of these spheres is linked to a word. The social is linked to people, the environmental to planet, and the economic to profit. So if we design an infrastructure, building a product, taking into account the 3P, planet, profit, and people, we are designing in a sustainable way. But the first challenge to design an infrastructure is to improve our quality of life without consuming resources. To show us this approach, this first big challenge, I show you a graph from Living Planet report that recommends us that we compare the Human Development Index on the horizontal axis which means the good quality of life, with the ecological footprint on the vertical axis. We know a sustainability quadrant, that it is the area from the intersection of the vertical lines about 0.8 to 1.0 of Human Development Index, and the horizontal life about 0.8 of hectares for person. In this sustainability quadrant, I have a good quality of life, and I don't consume big resources. If I put some data in the years, I know that there are some countries that are not a good quality of life and don't consume resources, and there are a lot of countries like Canada, United States, and other countries that are good quality of life but consuming a big amount of resources. So the challenge is how do we approach this problem to move to the sustainability quadrant. Some manufacturers approach this problem from a micro approach, micro changes, product level strategies. We know a lot of manufacturers that are involved in sustainability field that design products with, for example, an environmental product declaration, APD, or carbon footprint declaration, to take in account the environmental impacts or the carbon footprint impacts. Other manufacturers would like to manage its system, its company system, with a standard ISO 14001 environmental system management, and other manufacturers, other public administration would like to approach the problem with macro changes, with infrastructure design. And Envision is the protocol that helps us to approach this problem in a sustainable way. The infrastructure is important that the infrastructure brings goods to the market, for example, workers to the jobs, or children to the school. So the infrastructure is important to have a good quality of life. But it's important that these social benefits is maintained over the long without a big consumption of resources. So it's important the life of the infrastructure because we have some different years from, for example, 20 years for the highways to 100 of years of dams. So it's important to take in account also the life of the infrastructure to design it in a sustainable way. To close this short session, I report you some strategies for changing the industry for designing an infrastructure in a sustainable way. To make incremental improvements, it's important to approach the design not to have the big level of sustainable. I think that it's important to move the design to little steps by step. Use a standardized tool and metrics. Envision protocol is the right tool, the right standard. To document sustainable practice, obviously. To monitor performance over the years, to have the good economic approach to the design. To share lessons, it's a key point for infrastructure designing. And to have a global view, keep in mind local values, obviously the quality of life and the local view of point of the infrastructure. It's important to design the infrastructure. This is the end for this first session. If I can go ahead with the second presentation.
Yes, for sure. Go.
Okay. This slide, this session is based on the presentation of the Envision protocol. Envision protocol was born several years ago from a joint, from a collaboration of the Institute for Sustainable Infrastructure that is based on Washington with the Runoff program with the Harvard University. And the first version, I remember that was developed on 2011. And in the April of 2018 was launched the Envision on the third version. In Italy, ICMQ made an agreement with ISI, Institute for Sustainable Infrastructure, to develop Envision and to spread the protocol in Italy. ICMQ has performed its activities with the Envision protocol as a third-party independent certification body. At the moment, we will see that we have verified some projects, some important projects. We have qualified some professional competence, and we perform training and qualification. Envision can be applied to all types of infrastructure. It's the equivalent of a lead for the building. We can apply the protocol to energy infrastructure, water infrastructure, waste, transport, landscape, information infrastructure. It's composed by 64 credits subdivided into 5 categories. You can see that the categories are quality of life, leadership, resource allocation, natural world, and climate and resilience. I think I am not sure, but I think that climate and resilience, the resilience key point is a point that doesn't exist in other protocols. I think that the protocol Envision is the only protocol that I know that perform his activities with a thinking to the resilience of the infrastructure. I show you some information about the categories. The first one is quality of life. It's divided into three macro categories: well-being, mobility, community. It's important because I design an infrastructure with the thinking to the community. How can design the infrastructure taking into account the community needs? How can improve the quality of life of the community with my infrastructure? This is an important category. Leadership is based on the collaboration of a project team. It's divided into collaboration, planning, and economy. It's based on the sharing information, one of the key points from my previous presentation, to plan all the activities on the infrastructure and taking into account the economy. I remember that the life cycle cost analysis, it's important to have some credits about this category. Resource allocation is about the materials. My thinking is that a sustainable infrastructure is composed by sustainable products. So we have materials, energy, and water to take in account the certification of the materials that I use into the infrastructure. I award the environmental product declaration of the materials that I put into the infrastructure, or all the activities that can have an energy saving or water saving. Natural world is about the effect of the project on the preservation and renewal of ecosystem function. We have three macro categories: siting, preserve or avoid site features; conservation; and ecology, about protect species and habitats. And last but not least, climate and resilience, about minimize pollution and manage risks of the infrastructure. Every category every credit is composed by a title of the credit, the points, the maximum value of points that I can have, the goal, the intent of the credit, and the metric. How can I measure the in this case the quality of life? I have to document the effective levels of achievement. We have 5 levels of achievement, and there are improved above the conventional, enhanced. I am on the right track for designing, superior but not net zero, conserving. I have zero negative impact, and restorative. I restore systems with my design. Every category has a maximum number of points. If I sum all the points of all the credits and I can have the value of my sustainable designing, and I can have by divided all the point to 1000, that is the maximum value of points that I can reach. We have the level of certification. Verified if I have 20%, silver 30%, 40% gold, and 50% platinum. It's very hard to reach the verified level, but I know that if I have a verified certification, I am designing an infrastructure 20% better than the standard, that the benchmark. The certification process is divided into two paths. Pathway A, designing più post-construction, and pathway B, post-construction. In the first pathway, we have two steps of certification. We have a certification after I don't know. It's all okay.
Okay.
Sì. Okay, I have a certification after the design phase and after the post-construction of the infrastructure. The post-construction phase is important because the manufacturer has to demonstrate that all the design choices are implemented, are put into the construction. And the pathway B, I have the certification just after the post-construction phase, without any certification, any control, any verify after the design stage. ICMQ perform training activities to qualify the competence as Envision Sustainability Professional, Envision SP. That is an important point of contact for the project team with the certification body, with ICMQ. And the Envision SP is an expert of the Envision protocol. It is important to achieve, to reach all the levels of achievement. The process of qualifying an Envision SP is composed by two steps. We have a training course and an exam in double language, Italian English, with 75 questions for to have the qualification. The candidate has to answer correctly to 75% of 75 questions. And then we have an annual maintenance of the qualification. In Italy, ICMQ has developed some documents very fast. We have developed guidelines for the application of the Envision protocol to Italian railways infrastructure with Rete Ferroviaria Italiana and Italfer. We developed an alternative compliance path document, how to apply the Envision protocol in Italy. We know that the Envision protocol was born in United States. So we have think how the Envision protocol can apply in Italy. So we have developed this document that could be useful to apply the protocol for Italian designing of the infrastructure. We have developed the guidelines for the application of the Envision protocol to wind farms with Edison. The guidelines for the application of the Envision protocol to electrical transmission infrastructure with Terna. And we have performed the first certification in Europe of part of Naples-Bari railway infrastructure with Rete Ferroviaria Italiana. They achieved the platinum certification. Another certification with Edison wind farm of Vaglio, a gold level. The third certification is about Impresa Trevi with Life Marina Plan Plus, that is a structure under the sea, the Adriatic Sea, for the coastal management with a silver certification. And we have some other certification, another part of Naples-Bari with platinum certification, Edison with another 2 wind farms in Abruzzo, platinum certification. We have some registered project almost ready for the certification phase, railway for the connection of airport Marco Polo of Venice, bridge on the Barsis Lake, master plan 2035 of airport of Venice. Milano Serravalle, it's finished. We have performed a preliminary assessment of Pedemontana with MM, ex Metropolitana Milanese, extension of line 5 of Milan subway. We have some other project of Rete Ferroviaria Italiana, Porta Garibaldi Station, Piazza Freud in Milan, Frosinone Station, Porta Romana Station, and the high-speed railway in Florence with the station. And in Europe, we have performed a preliminary assessment of a dam with Seacon Engineering. I have finished. I hope that the time is okay. This is our reference. If you would like to have some information, you can take a look to the our website, Envision Italia. And if you need some information, you can write me. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ugo.
Sure.
And please, everybody should be aware that ICMQ is exactly in front of the Bosco Verticale.
Yes.
So if you go and visit them, you can see the Bosco Verticale, that is the well-known skyscraper in Milan, full of the vertical wood, no, isn't it? Okay. So I'm ready for for my presentation.
Okay, sorry.
So what everybody has seen in the Ugo presentation is that ICMQ, Envision is a protocol that has a very broad field for being applied. So you can, okay, now I can share. You can apply it to a highway and to a dam or to a landscaping project. What I did is I collected 4 landscaping projects that have been awarded by Envision, and I collected the best cases, the lesson learned that have been highlighted by the Institute for Sustainable Infrastructure on those projects. I start sharing my presentation. 1 second, almost there. Okay, can you see?
Yes, we can.
Okay. So This is the agenda and a very short introduction about Envision and the use of it for landscaping projects. Then we have 4 case studies, you can see, and a short conclusion on it. I am member of the academic committee of the Institute for Sustainable Infrastructure, and what we do is to advocate the awareness of the Institute for Sustainable Infrastructure, and specifically for of Envision at university level and at students. So we develop some teaching material that can be used and can be applied into classes, so ready to be used. It is very used at the civil engineering classes, and it is applied also to project classes when and design classes when the students are required to develop their own projects, and capstone project usually are used for capstone projects in civil engineering and others. As you have seen from Ugo's presentation, Envision can be used to a very broad number of infrastructure. So obviously, when you are a sustainability professional, no, certified sustainability professional, and you need to lead the project team and the design team to apply Envision, you need to select what are the area, the credits where the protocol can be used. As you have seen, you have to know there is a score for each project when you apply Envision, and the maximum you can reach is 1,000 points. No project reach 1,000 points. So you have to select since the beginning a list of credit, no, the number of credit on which you want your project to focus, because there are no super smart solution that you have to apply. All the solution that can be used for enhancing sustainability to project are well known. I think that all the people, all the person participating to this workshop already know which solution can be achieved, can be applied to achieve the maximum level of sustainability. On the other hand, sustainability cost. If you apply all the principles and or the solution, then the project team can identify to reach the maximum level of sustainability. Obviously, it costs a lot, so maybe the project sponsor does not want you to reach such a high level of sustainability. And when I approached the first time several years ago the sustainability, the Envision rating system, I was very surprised when I saw that to get the maximum level, not the platinum level of achievement, only 50% of the points were required. I expected, I don't know, 70, 80, instead just the 50%, and less for the rest, because it's not that easy. We know what is, everybody knows what is the direction to achieve sustainable infrastructure, sustainable projects, but at the end it's not that easy to apply them. What I like about Envision rating system is that it includes all the 3 pillars of sustainability. If compared, for example, to the well-known LEED rating system, that is the one that I think you know and everybody know, and it is related to building and not on infrastructure. The nice thing of Envision is that the three pillars are included. It is not only environmental, the planet part of sustainability, but also the social part and the economic part, obviously. Because it is a kind of triple constraint to be sustainable. You need to achieve all these three levels, and Envision includes all the three parts as well. So in particular, here just to let you see that it is perfectly on purpose for landscaping, and you see, you know, from the presentation of Ugo that there are so many credits. You see 64. It's really a lot. When you apply Envision, you have a sustainability professional that help in applying and identifying the solutions. And for each credit, you have to see what can be done realistically. If you don't have a brownfield, if you don't have waste in your project area, you can't clean, so you can get, for example, the maximum level for the reclaiming brownfield, as you see in conservation 2.1. So obviously you have to select some credit and to decide how to focus on them. You have some hint from the Envision manual, and obviously you have to go into deep and you find your own solutions. Another point that Ugo pointed out, and it's very meaningful, is that it has been developed, Envision has been developed in a American context. So, for example, if you apply it in Europe and specifically in Italy, for example, we are thinking about Italy in this moment, you have to see what are the requirements, what are the standards that can be applied at your project. Okay. Okay, already seen. So the first project I want to talk you about is the Wellington Linear Park that it is that has been built in Burnaby, that is in Canada, in British Columbia, and got the silver prize, silver achievement in 2019. You see here a picture. And it is a nice project because it consists of more than 1 kilometer of park, linear, and then spanning in 13 blocks of this city. There has been something, for example, here you see a description, a level description, and also talk about asphalt. That is something that maybe is not that relevant usually when you think about a landscaping project. In this case, the asphalt has been reclaimed. So the same asphalt that was already used before the park was built has been used for the new one. And what has been done, you can see, is taking an area that was not used, was overgrown with vegetation and not used, and it has been transformed into a park that is qualifying so much this city. You see that there are the linear park, the 13 blocks can be seen here. As it is linear, mainly you have some pedestrian path and biking path. In some point, it has been possible to enlarge somehow to include some extra facility for meeting, for gathering, for etc. I think that is interesting. If you see the references below, one of the pictures has been taken from study in Burnaby. So it is something that makes the city more attractive also for students. Regarding the part of quality of life, you will see for each case study some highlight that described what has been done and what is outstanding for this project. Here, nothing exceptional, you see. For example, there is a new pedestrian signals that improved the accessibility and the safety for pedestrians. Again, biking and walking pathways. Obviously, feel free to raise questions. And in addition, as I mentioned, in some part where possible, there have been built pocket parks, some space for gatherings, for chance encounters, and quite full solitude. So this is what has been done. There is nothing exceptional. I think that everybody's thinking, just this, it's just what has been, and they worth a prize from Envision. The topic is that if you apply a rating system, you are spurred to do one step more. Okay, so usually what can be what happens during a project review with Envision is that you are spurred to do more and more because you go up, now you ascend the level of achievement on the specific credit. Another topic that often is not as so much considered in normal project, let's say, is the control of invasive species. Invasive species are natural species, are plants that are not local, so have been imported somehow in the past, and then they spread so much, almost getting out with local species and not invasive species local. What is usually required is to remove the invasive species and planting local species. And in this case, in particular, they put in place a continuous monitoring of the species to be sure that it is a long-term solution. In this case, they had this plant that I didn't know before, the Japanese knotweed, this one. For the reduction of air pollutants, it has been planted so many trees. So you see that 31 existing trees have been kept, and in addition, more than 200 are being added. So many, and often the credits request the project team to quantify the benefit that can be reached. In this case, it has been calculated that the air quality has been improved by 5 times if compared to the existing situation before the project. So at the end, now this is the last slide. What has been done is to including multi-use pathways, offering safe pedestrian and cyclist road and lanes for crossing, integrating the rest areas in pocket park, time by time, and adding a park furnishing, lighting, trees, and feature, and distinguishing, giving a character to this area. So this is the first project that they awarded. Another project that that I want you to talk about is the Albion Riverside Park that is in Los Angeles. It is a pretty big park because it's 10 acres. 10 acres is about 40,000 square meters. Okay, and it is adjacent to the Los Angeles River. In this area, for this project, there were an industrial area aside the existing park. That's what degraded, well, not that nice. The Los Angeles municipality acquired the industrial area, and they improved the situation of the area, and they increased the open space and recreational opportunities of the park. Another goal of this project was to improve the water quality of stormwater runoff. It is very related to the climate change. Everybody knows that there are big storms, and stormwater comes all together in a short time. The management of this situation, of this event is critical for the resilience of project. And another goal of this project was related to that. You can see that is a pretty big area with so many recreational facilities, and several trees. This is a map that I will you will see in the presentation. I made this presentation available. This is a picture. One topic that has been outstanding in this project has been for the quality of life. Obviously, such a park that made available a baseball field, 3 soccer fields, a basketball court, and a plaza and space for events, trails, fitness area, and etc. Improves the quality of life of the quarter. In addition, ADA compliant ramps is the accessibility, the improved accessibility for handicapped people. Okay, so this is another topic that has been approached. So for quality of life is something that has been considered outstanding. One topic that has been also considered outstanding is the leadership part. According to my experience in project management, and particularly in sustainable project, it's always under considered the importance of leadership. Leadership involves several pillars. One key point is the stakeholder engagement, and in this case, the community has been involved in the design. So you see, I bolded that local resident and the community group have been involved in the design, and also they applied. You see a list of associations that have been involved in the design, and they applied what is called a design charrette. I don't know if everybody knows what does it means. It is a way of designing with several workshops involving a wide number of stakeholders. This is a key point for sustainability. It's not environmental sustainability. We are totally in the area of social sustainability. If you involve local communities in the design, you will have a social engagement, and it will be easier and easier to find and to guarantee the long-term perspective of your project. Leadership also involved, from my perspective, a good project management attitude for the project development, because you can think, if you involve the community and you get so many hints and suggestions, you include them into the design, and then the project development and the project implementation is poor, obviously you totally lost the engagement you got from the community. Okay, so leadership means all this part. In this case, they had a very good social engagement. For the part of natural world, here it is mainly related to the stormwater managing of stormwater runoff. They worked to spread the water all over the park that is very big, and for this part the project become a part of the Upper Los Angeles River Enhancement Watershed Management Plan you see in the middle. In this case, they have been able to recover the 85th percentile, that is 85% of the events during the year can be recovered and totally absorbed by the park. It is a lot. You see that the strategies includes permeable pavement, underground infiltration galleries, bioretention areas, etc. Again, it is nothing that it is brand new. It is not something that everything is well known by us. But if you apply the protocol, again, you are spurred to do the extra mile, one step over. So at the end, in this case as well, that got the gold Envision prize. The water quality was one topic that has been really outstanding, and in addition, the park is something that is very relevant for the local community, improving climate change adaptability and reducing the risk of flooding in the area. Another project that is also interesting, according to me, is the Starlight Park that has been developed in Bronx, so in New York City, and it also got the gold achievement from Envision last year. It is a very big project that has been developed and is being developed actually in 3 phases. $41 million is a lot for a landscaping project. As you can see in the map, you see the Bronx River all along, and on the left there is the area that is that has been part of the project. The project includes, you see a restored shoreline, boat docks, soccer field, and a playground in the phase 1. The phase 2 is more related to linking the 2 sides of the river. So you see 2 pedestrian and bike bridges have been built, and the 3rd phase will include another bridge. This is an aerial picture of the park. You can see that there is a highway running along the park. So as Michele said in his presentation, it's always something. It's just it's like a wall, no? This kind of infrastructure. If you succeed in connecting the different sides of the park, obviously you do a lot for the community. In this case, okay, you can see the phase 1 and the phase 2. A lot has been done for linking the community. Okay, for quality of life, as I mentioned, there have been built some bridge. I can see the timing for the laptop. Oh, it's okay. How much have I, Michele? How can I speak again?
How many cases do you have? I don't know. 10 minutes is fine.
Okay, okay. Regarding the natural world, regarding the natural world, an abandoned industrial area has been changed into a green space. So it got a lot of points for the natural world area. The last project, so I close my presentation, is the Marshview Park in Virginia Beach. I don't know if you know what where is Virginia Beach. Is a city in the US, in Virginia, and it is on the ocean, so it's really on the Atlantic Ocean. In this case, again, a pretty big area has been enhanced with recreational amenities open during the day. The most relevant part of the area are an 8-foot wide paved trail that substitute an existing trail not that friendly, and a dog park and a playing field, parking lot, etc. If you see a big a picture of the area, it is this one, and as you can see, the project site is in the area, and this is the Atlantic Ocean. Can you see the arrow? Yeah. Okay. Okay. So regarding the quality of life, there were an existing park, and it has been made more accessible. In addition, in the area there is 6 acres of wetland, so it is something that has been kept available, not changed, and people going into the park can enjoy this natural area. The pathway I already mentioned has also a social value, because it allows to go from one side to the other of the park safely. And the separated area for dogs that is fenced also improved the safety for people frequenting the park. Regarding leadership, again, also in this project, it has been done a lot for the commitment. The community has been involved also in the planning part, and not only in the specific project. One very good thing that I think is a critical success factor of this project has been that I mentioned that several pictures I took here are based on a master plan that has been developed for this park. So there, in that master plan, that is before the design phase and before the use of Envision protocol, it was plenty of information about the area, about the historical value of the area, etc. So this made it easier and easier to apply the protocol. Regarding the location, it has been done a lot from the project team perspective to use local materials. Obviously, if you use local plants, local materials, aggregates, and soil, you reduce so much the environmental impact building. This is again something that is very obvious to everybody, but I see in several projects that is not applied as a principle. For the natural world, again, you see the last lines, the removal of invasive species that we have already seen in another project, and the minimization of the impact on the existing habitats. We mentioned that 6 acres has been kept as wetland. It's not part of the park that can be used for amusement of people. And in addition to protect, to extra protect these wetlands, signages have been included to let people aware of the park and of the wetlands. Regarding the climate and resilience, extra activity, outstanding activities have been done for the flood control. So all the area is totally net zero for the climate change. This is a very good achievement, and the park itself acts as a buffer for the climate resilience. So that's all from my side. If the cases I showed are concluded here, if you have any interest in seeing what has been done with Envision, you can go on sustainableinfrastructure.org. That is the site of the Institute for Sustainable Infrastructure. Specifically, you can go in the directory of project awards, and you can filter location, level, year, etc., and also project type, and you also find the project that I showed to you. That's all from my side.
Thank you, Edoardo, and thank you for sure also, Ugo, for the previous presentations. You have given us a lot of information, topics, content, so I think it's fantastic this morning. Okay, I'm asking colleagues and students if they have any comment or question. I'm opening, if I can, because I have marked some points I would like to discuss or to understand better with you briefly. The first one is about okay, Edoardo, maybe you remember we have a strong partnership this year in the workshop with UN Habitat, and we had a conference by Rafael Forero on Tuesday, and he described, and it's something we will work about, sustainable development goals. So system of rating, I can say, some characters and identity of situation, projects, and so on. Which is the relationship between among, for example, sustainable development goals by UN Habitat, by all the international panels, and the system of rating you are applying? Is it a system of it's possible to compare, or they are different views in your opinion?
Ugo, do you want to reply to this? No, how Envision is related to the 17 Sustainable Development Goals?
There are some points of connection. I don't remember all the 17 goals of the Sustainable Development, but I remember the preserve natural habitat, or to improve quality of life, to have preserve water resources, and there is some categories, some credits in the Envision protocol that have this key point for the sustainable development.
The developer of Envision kept in mind, they had in mind, and they have in mind the 17 sustainability goals. So obviously the Envision protocol goes in that direction. on the other hand, we can't apply all the 17 goals to infrastructure projects. So the goals that are relevant for infrastructure project have been kept into account and included and developed in the credits of Envision, definitely.
So they are two fields talking together. I mean, in relations.
Yeah, definitely there are.
Okay, another curiosity point about the role of architect designer within the project process. I mean, because for sure you define the different categories, describe at some point. Some of these points are related with designer activity, with the designer role. Which is, in your view, the position, the role, and the importance of the designer in this process?
It's critical because it's the most important, because a rating system like Envision is just a tool that we can use to spur us to go, as I mentioned, one step ahead. But the solutions come all from the design team and designers. Having designers, the design team, the project team engaged to sustainability is the critical part of the project. Sustainability is a goal, but to go there, we need good ideas and good solution and engagement from designers. Definitely, Michele. We can't expect that sustainability professional can provide a sustainable project. We need designers. Sustainability professionals are facilitators, are people that work together with designers to find the sustainable solution, the best sustainable solution.
We can say our student that, I mean, cooperation, collaboration with different specialties, professionals, characters, and identity of the different professional involved has to be the line of today and the future work.
Yeah, definitely. As Ugo said during his presentation, the first about sustainability, one key point is to share lessons learned, that is best practice of previous projects. That is maybe this is something that a sustainability professional can help to bring to design team. Usually design teams and the designers comes from different experiences. So their experience is not always at the maximum level for sustainability purposes. So maybe one good collaboration between the designers and the sustainability professionals can be to identify the lessons learned from previous project and case studies that are relevant for the specific project to go to reach the maximum of sustainability in the project.
Okay, I ask also the class, students, colleagues, if you have some question. Otherwise, I can give another one because I'm curious. I'm interested in one point. As far as I have seen, all the awarded projects you have presented, okay, are just new projects, new infrastructure, pieces of land, and so on. I have talked in opening this morning about the infrastructure impacting on the design area in Piacenza. Okay, for example, the bridges or the viaduct of the highway and so on. Is it possible to imagine also that existing, maybe old infrastructures can be regenerated in the direction of sustainability, or also entering in the protocol and vision or so on? So changing the level of the sustainability itself, or do you think can be a difficult process to transform and to regenerate existing conditions?
Maybe Ugo has some experience in this, I think.
It's important to start with a new infrastructure, to start sustainable designing, because the cost in the time are low. But we have some experience of infrastructure regenerating as a preliminary assessment, because the project team has applied the sustainability concept, has applied most part of the credits of Envision without no Envision. So we have valorized the sustainable approach of the manufacturers without Envision, because Envision is a modus operandi of designing, and it is useful to valorize all the investment in the sustainable field. So we can apply Envision to the new infrastructure, and we can apply Envision to the existing infrastructure if the manufacturers has applied the sustainable concept.
Okay, so also in our workshop, we can imagine to give ideas to transform existing and old infrastructure there in the direction of sustainability. This can be a good, a good horizon for our students.
But the best is to start when they are children. No, it is starting since the beginning and thinking about life cycle engineering, life cycle design, and so sustainability at the end when you design. If you don't have this opportunity, that is the case of the workshop, there are several things that can be used, but sometimes demolition is the only way. Am I right, Ugo? What do you think?
Can I do a question?
Yeah.
Thanks.
In your opinion, in which area in Piacenza area where do you see in Michele presentation you think the students start to use your approach on the sustainable practice? In first, where the students can to start this approach? Because there is a different situation, rail infrastructure, motorway infrastructure. In your opinion, in where it's possible to start this approach?
Yeah. As also we have seen very clearly from Michele's presentation, the most problematic area in Piacenza is the part in the northern part, that is the waterfront close to the River Po, where when you have an highway, you have the two railways coming then. So a very good project that can be imagined and can give a lot from the sustainability point of view to increase is the implementation of a sustainable waterfront. That is probably the bend from the River Po to 200 meters in the south, of the city, in the central part, in the historic part of Piacenza. That area that has historically been not infrastructured until the 19th century, because it was subject to floodings, has been deeply infrastructured, starting from the highway at the beginning of the 20th century, and then the monster of the A21 that is something that I don't think that is a remedy for that, probably only the demolition. But would be really interesting, according to me, to apply the protocol in a project that could be the rehabilitation of the waterfront for a band of 200 meters, 300 meters.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. I guess we can close a very important and interesting morning, and together also with the discussion oriented to to give also some pushes or suggestions to our students. So I still thank also on behalf of Director Sara Protasoni, also other colleagues, Ugo Pannuti for his lecture and his participation with the society ICMQ to our workshop, Edoardo, Favari for his presence. For sure, if you want, if you have time, we could invite you next week, next Friday, for the final presentation of the project, so you can also give a brief evaluation of sustainability of the design proposals. And well, I thank you very much for being
Michele.
here.
Good
Thank
night,
you.
everybody.
Thank you.
Thanks for listening.
Okay.
Bye.
Before closing, just two brief communication to the students, to the classes. Okay, now today we have times for a workshop activity within your classes in the atelier. We have not night lecture this today, but we are meeting all together tomorrow at 6 p.m. for Stephanie Laws from UN Habitat lecture. So next collective moment is tomorrow at 6 p.m. And we have small changes in the program for Saturday presentation. Saturday is the midterm moment, so you are called with the atelier to present briefly the ongoing process, the ongoing project. We have imagined to do it in the afternoon. Instead, we had to anticipate, so we are starting with the session at 12:30 in the morning. So we will concentrate it, the presentation and a brief discussion with the advisory board members, more or less from 11